detective. Thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again for another episode. Finally got the full crew back on deck. Matty, you're alive, mate.
Oh, yeah, I managed to make it out. I'm awake.
Well, that's good.
I'm sacrificing sleep for this, so that makes me not like you guys.
Don't worry, based on the movie we're covering, you
No one likes these guys.
no time. Tonight's episode, we're back in Seagal territory. Exit Wounds from 2001. But before we get to that, we're just going to do a quick up or down. The Bad Boys for Life second trailer came out, I think it was about a week ago. Please, gentlemen, what are our thoughts on this? I was thoroughly unenthused with the first trailer. So, how does everyone else feel here?
Nothing changed for me. Not interested. I won't be pre-ordering the tickets for opening night, and I will never watch that film.
I think you'd get a walk-up start on opening night.
Oh, mate, you'd have the cinema to yourself.
Yep.
It looks really poor. Martin Lawrence, like, Will Smith doesn't need this. Martin Lawrence really needs this, and you can tell.
Will Smith needs it too, mate.
Why?
Well,
not as bad as Lawrence, but he does need it. I'm with you.
Will Smith has not had a hit or a real good. Well, something like Suicide Squad was a
hit. You think he's hurting in the bank account though?
Like, he's not. But if he wants to continue making movies, he needs to kind of get some steam back.
His last really good movie for me was I'm Legend, and that was
pretty much
12 years ago.
Concussion was pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the comedy, the back and forth is just so stale.
It's poor.
So stale.
The only good bit in the entire preview is Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah.
like that's. I'm okay with him.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they go for, as you say, the whole scene where he's like, I'm going to go deep into his soul, and then he just gets punched in the face, and then it's like, how deep did you get? Yeah, it's like, come on. Like, this joke is a long, long time ago. Let's just move on.
I don't even think I would have laughed at that in the first Bad Boys.
Yeah.
No.
But see, at the end of the day, why is this here? It's like, it's a little bit like Xander Cage. It's like bringing back Xander Cage.
Yeah, who asked?
There's solid Bad Boys fans out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, the first two Bad Boys have actually got...
First one's
good.
Second one's awful.
It's not... No, it's bad. Awful. It's not like what this is going to be, though.
Look, we'd have to cover two again, but I remember it being a disgrace. And it was a 2.5 hour disgrace.
I think I'm biased.
Oh, it's long, for sure.
I'm biased because I just like the tune so much.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm bopping along.
Who doesn't love the tune? But I don't need the 2 hours.
Was that Shake Your Tail Feather in that one? Was that... What else was in there in Bad Boys 2? Because it was all Will Smith junk.
I can't remember.
That was right when he was
doing a long time.
Yeah, it was right when he was doing the "Look, guys, I'm a rapper again" thing.
I'm talking the Bad Boys for Life tune.
That's all right.
That's all I want.
I liked it. I did like that was the best thing about the trailer, that they mashed the P Diddy Bad Boys for Life with the Bad Boys. Like that was kind of cool.
Look,
but not much else.
The main thing I'm worried about is how upset I'm going to be looking at Martin Lawrence's plastic face.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fat gutsy.
He's been in a good paddock since he's been.
They rolled him onto set.
Like he could make a Big Mama sequel today with no help.
You know what? Go to Big Mamas. Don't go to Bad Boys. Like, get yourself a Big Mamas sequel.
Didn't he churn out a couple more of them, that went straight to DVD?
There was one where his son was also dressed up as
come on.
Sorry. I can't even say that with a straight face.
That's my point, though. That's the difference between him and Will Smith still had a career. Martin Lawrence has had a train wreck after this.
Well, what's he done
that's good?
I guess where you're coming from, Gibbo, in the sense that Will Smith is still capable, if he wants, to get quality material. But Martin Lawrence has taken anything that comes.
Yeah.
Will
Smith's got to drop the cool guy stuff, though. He's still trying to run with this, the same lines and the cool, like the Mike Lowry stuff that he was doing in the first one and Independence Day, and he's just not the cool guy anymore. You're nearly 50. You're charismatic still, but you're not. He's
over 50.
We're not dropping your lines. We're not dropping your lines like we were in Bad Boys 1. We're not hearing you say something and go, "That's cool. I'm going to say that." Doing that.
I want to be Mike Lowry.
And the bloke, when he's on song acting wise, he's very good. Yeah. I mean, I Am Legend proves it. That was such a good performance in a difficult film, and it's a really good movie. I think he just went back to the well a few times, like coming back with Men in Black 3 and things like that, you know. He kind of went away for a while after the stink of After Earth.
Yeah.
And he came back trying to go to properties that...
He's letting you know that he's still around.
See, look,
I believe it's called the Stallone model.
I'm going to put myself out there and say I actually thought he was a really good fit for Deadshot. Not many people did.
He was. The movie just...
But again... there was just a couple of times when he tried to do those lines and sound really cool and stuff. It's like, nah, that's not what I'm here for. I do want to see you act, mate. Like, that's where you got to. You're a good actor. But yeah, I don't know. Just not happening for him at the moment.
Is it a thumbs down?
Thumbs down for me, yep.
I'll watch it.
We've long established that whether I'm up or down is not an indicator of whether I'm going to be watching it.
Okay, let's throw this out. Will you be there?
Yeah, I'll see it in cinema. I'll have a day off.
I'll end up watching it, but I refuse to pay for it.
If I want to. It'd have to be tight ass Tuesday, but I might find myself slumming it one day.
Go south, mate. Hit up Limelight.
Every day's tight ass Tuesday.
That's right.
Look, I'll be there in the cinema.
Wow.
I want to see what this is, and I want to see it.
The cinema owes me after Rambo. The cinema owes me after Rambo.
It owes you?
Yes.
That's
it does.
hard. But, okay, so we've got 3 downs and an up.
Yep.
I don't know what you're on.
I know, well, I you know what it's going to be, right?
Oh,
Terrible.
look, you know what it's going to be, but that, you know what? That shit was from 1995.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk me into watching another Seagal movie. So.
Yeah, true.
No, they talked us all into it.
But you could have walked away from this. You stupidly
I had
walked
the
into the trap.
excuses.
Look, we're not talking from the pulpit here. We're yelling at you from the sidewalk. We're on your level.
Hey, idiot! Get out of the car! All right, let's take a break, and here's the trailer for 2001's Exit Wounds.
Our guys inside said it took about 50 kilos of heroin.
Someone's having a big party tonight.
In the city's most corrupt precinct,
He used to work for internal affairs. How'd you know who you can trust?
2 honest men are about to bring justice to the law.
I want to catch all these guys at once. Stick it to them.
Ain't no sunshine in this song. Exit Wounds, rated R, starts Friday at a theater near you.
Exit Wounds from 2001. Gibbo, I'm going to throw to you for the director's name.
I don't have it anymore, but Andrei Bartkowiak.
That's rock solid.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that'll do. He did Romeo Must Die, and he also did Doom.
Ugh.
Jesus. It's produced by Dan Cricolo, who did Swordfish, and Joel Silver, who did The Matrix and The Nice Guys. Written by Ed Horowitz, wrote On Deadly Ground, and Richard Diavadino, who did 13 Ghosts and The Call, and it's based on a novel by John Wasterman. Now, I read something in the trivia, had very little to do with the novel. It's like, yeah, okay. It stars Steven Seagal as Oren Boyd, DMX as Latrell Walker, Isaiah Washington as George Clark, Anthony Anderson as TK Johnson, Michael J. White as Lewis Strutt, Bill Duke as Chief Hings, and Tom Arnold as Henry Wayne. This cost $50 million and made $79 million worldwide.
Well done.
You're buying up Seagal stock at that price. Oh, Christ.
Yeah, look.
Who?
But people were. Okay, the trivia. DMX did not enjoy working with Seagal, describing him as a dickhead.
Join the clue.
Welcome to the show, DMX.
He's a dickhead. Shocking. And here we were thinking he was just a gentleman and God. Wow.
Look, considering DMX has had his share of problems, that is a hard rap. If he's calling you a dickhead, something's going on. All right, we'll let the boys who are back get into it. Matty, your thoughts on Exit Wounds?
It felt like it was an improv movie.
Not by Seagal.
You mean in a good way,
I
right?
started watching it and I liked the beginning, and then I stopped paying attention, and I really enjoyed my time when I wasn't really paying attention to it. And then I started paying attention again, and it was all right, but 2.
2.
All right.
That's deep, bro.
Gibbo?
More of the same. I had to watch it in 3 sittings due to as I said to you guys, internet issues.
Yeah.
Inexplicable. I don't know why. The network's supposedly up, but watched it in 3 sittings. But the first one I actually fell asleep about 45 minutes in. For an action movie, it's painfully boring. There's not much happening, and no one in it that's like a main character can act at all. Anthony Anderson just yelling every time he's near anyone is the only thing that kept me awake for the 45 minutes, I think. DMX is horrendous.
We're really gonna unpack Anderson,
Mate,
aren't we?
how does he keep getting a start?
He's problematic.
Him in the Transformers movies, that's all he does is just yell.
Yeah.
Like, at nothing.
He was in Scream 4. Should check it out.
I bet you he yells a lot. Let me guess.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
Bruce Willis.
Oh, he's got ridiculous.
He's really irritating. But yeah, DMX cannot act at all. And Seagal literally has in this movie one expression, and it's him frowning.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what's happening. I'm with Maddie. I think it's not. Like, I was probably thinking more 1.5, to be honest. I didn't enjoy it at all. All the likes were tongue-in-cheek, pointing fun at the movie, which is always a good sign. So I'm going to go. I was thinking 2, but 1.5 because I really don't like it.
Jared?
Yep. Thoroughly unenjoyable. I think the issue is they place it early on. They place it early on to be a little bit of poking a little bit of fun at Seagal and this notion that he can't be touched when he's fighting, and he's just the world's greatest at everything he does. But then they let him fall back into that same old shit. Yeah. So it's just as Gibbo said, for an action movie, it's awfully slow and none of the fights are any good. The actions there's not an action sequence in there that I can remember and say that was all right. It was just. I went to 1.5 as well. I was sitting at a 2 at some parts, but by the end of it, I was just like, I was so fucking bored for the whole runtime. So, yep.
And not short, actually. Like, this should be an hour and a half.
It's 100 minutes.
100.
I think it's 100.
It's too long.
I'm thinking 85.
It's too long.
It felt like 2 hours.
Look, I cannot disagree with any of you, what you've said, and I totally agree with what you were saying, Jared. It feels like they kind of tried to pitch him as, let's have a bit of fun with this, Stephen. And then he's got maybe halfway through it and decided he didn't want to go down that route.
Stephen,
I climbed the mountain, guys.
Well, let's have some fun, Stephen. What's fun?
Yeah.
Fucking
Because
dickhead.
initially they do a couple of things where they take the piss out of him and that, and I thought, hey, the guy's loosening up.
No.
But then by midpoint, he's back to his usual shtick where he's the greatest at everything, he knows everything.
Well,
It didn't even take to the midpoint. Some of it, when we get into it, in some scenes they were poking fun at him and it seemed like he just
didn't get it. I wasn't. Look, none of it would blow my mind. I thought some of the shootouts and stuff were reasonably well handled, but the fights are the biggest problem.
Yeah, by a long way.
Here's a guy whose skill set is punching heads, and you absolutely butcher that. You put him on wires. There's a sequence involving avoiding getting shot in the head that looks so funny.
I actually laughed out
He
loud.
slaps the gun out of the way.
No. When he dives back and does the handstand kick at the
the guy
start.
fires the gun, and for Jet Li in that scene,
He pulled it
looked
off.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea of being able to move so quick that the bullet gets fired.
Yeah.
But then it cuts away to Seagal going...
Fat Seagal with a handstand, one handspring.
Just like, what? No.
I also
It's
can't listen to
only-
any more of his fucking slow kicks make the sound either.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like little kids at a soccer game kick faster than him.
Yeah.
It's only
He's no one's idea of an
that
athlete.
sequence is only a shade under Belly of the Beast when he's sliding on the floor. The comedy value.
But
But the bottom line is, this is kind of... I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It just fucking sat.
Yeah.
Right in the guts, too. I would liken it, in terms of my enjoyment factor, to From Paris with Love. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
It's around there.
Where I'm sitting there watching it going... Yeah, not much. I don't hate it, but I don't love it, and I'm just sitting there.
I dead set would have From Paris
It
with
is-
Love at
it is
least
the
a full
equivalent.
star and a
You
half
could
on this.
interchange Seagal with John Travolta in that movie.
It is the equivalent of like
Easily.
if you go to the cupboard and you're a little bit peckish and you just kind of, sometimes you look in the cupboard and you just stand there for a couple of minutes and then you close the cupboard doors and leave and you still haven't eaten. That's what watching this movie
No,
is
for
like.
me, it
Or
was
do you
like the
play
good old
playing
days of my dad buying Cheez-Its. So
And Cheds.
nobody will eat these. Nobody else will eat these. And I'd stand there at the cupboard for a while, Oh, yeah.
I'll teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
I'll eat his fucking
I would
cheeses.
eat them no matter what. That's basically what I've done here. I've watched this no matter what. All right, let's get into it. Is there any likes?
They establish it's a Seagal movie straight away. They're like, he's a bad boy. He turned up to the ceremony late.
And he just wanders through?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, check me out.
Yeah.
Cracked me up straight away.
Dickhead. Should have been told.
I had... Okay, so this is obviously what I said when I was saying everything's poking fun at the movie. Every single fight, he tries to beat people by playing Ultimate Mercy and just twisting their fingers in some direction. Like, you can punch people too, you know? Like, but he dead set just grabs people's fingers and twists them until they... Like, that's what little kids do.
Yeah, I thought he was going to rock up and have a thumb war with
Yeah,
someone.
exactly. Come on, mate, what's happening here? You've got a gun and you've got fists.
Look,
like,
I actually thought the opening shootout was all right.
Yeah,
on
I
the
didn't
bridge.
mind
I thought that was okay.
Yeah,
Lots of fucking lead, yeah.
It was passable.
The helicopter hovering over the top, going boom, and shooting down all the cars and that.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty. That was
Chucking the
actually
vice
not too
president over the bridge
Yeah,
and him yelling,
you know.
I can't swim. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
bad. And I actually it was kind of one of the, I think, the poking fun bits where he punches on with the two bouncers, and they actually give him a bit of they give him a bit of curry. You know, he tries to break that bloke's arm, and the guy just goes,
yeah, no,
twists his way out.
that's what I mean about the mercy.
Gives him one, you know, like,
when he gets pushed into the chains
Yeah.
and then bounces off him like it's the top turnbuckle.
yeah. It's like a wrestling
And he
move.
flips over the top. Remember, he flips over the top of the guy to undo the chains on him. But yeah,
Oh my God.
that was laughable.
But at least that wasn't classic Seagal. Like, classic Seagal would have tailed those blokes up in 2 seconds and we'd have been sitting there going, he never gets hit or anything.
Yeah,
At
the
least
same
in
as when
this
he
film he
fights.
gets hit a few times.
Yeah.
And he does get shot in the back.
Yeah.
And requires someone to bail him out. So,
Yeah, but he would have shaken that off.
I know, and he
had a
does.
vest
He
on,
does
he would've
take
stood
it
up.
off. He just goes, oh yeah, it's alright, and he gets
Yeah.
up.
He'd have been fine.
I'm
He'd
thinking,
have been
mate,
left
you've got a
there.
couple of broken ribs.
If he'd have been left there to his own devices, he would have just stood up after a couple of minutes and gone, and then stumbled on his way. So.
So in one of the other fights when DMX headbutts him like 4 times, did you guys notice he blocks a nut kick? The guy DMX goes to kick him from behind, like up into his nuts, and he goes, ha! And like both of his hands pinned down in front of his nuts, and like stop the guy's foot and stop the nut kick. I lost it.
You loved it.
Like, is that a martial arts move too? You can see him kicking you from behind, so you drop. Yeah.
Yeah, learn a lesson from Arnie. It's okay to be kicked in the nuts. We still think you're pretty tough.
yeah. And look, that's only 3 points to get kicked in the nuts, I believe, based on the diesel rules. Seriously, the precinct he turns up to, it's fucking Death Wish 3. At the front, there's coppers flogging both.
That's right.
He walks inside, and they just do this panty shot. There's these 2 detectives.
When he turns up, one of them has a bloke against the car or something, then the guy gets a little bit rowdy and then gets a flogging for his troubles. Like, it's pretty, it's the Wild West that he turns up to.
And I must admit, I had to laugh when he rubs into her, and he starts going, Jesus, who's running this joint? I've seen mental asylums saying than this.
Yeah.
That was telegraphed too, though.
It was super telegraphed. I initially gave it some credit because I'm like, oh, this is where at one of the points where I'm thinking this is going to be a Seagal movie that actually tries to go against the grain a little bit as a female, female superior that he's got to report to. But even then, he couldn't fucking toe the line. He has to leer. And I don't even think... I don't know in those interactions whether he was supposed to be cracking onto it, but he was leering at her.
I'm going to bring that up in my dislikes. I've really got I've got some worrying things
brutally
about
painful.
And the other thing I like about it, you know how he strips some weight?
Yeah.
You can tell though he couldn't wait to get some food back in because he's there several times where he's eating.
Yeah.
And he is not spitting that out during taste. He's nailing it. He's nailing it every
He's like,
single
Andre,
time.
can we do another take, mate? I want some more of these nachos.
And he's eating a sandwich in front of Isaiah Washington and shit's full.
No.
Slow down, Steven. Slow down.
You got to run after this.
Yeah. We need to do 4 more takes so I can finish this off.
I shouldn't have, but I did laugh when he destroyed the table in the anger management meeting, where he ripped the top off it and then started going on about, how happy, you wish you were as happy as me and things like that.
I
That
must
was kind
admit
of funny.
too, I get a great laugh out of him doing traffic duties.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
because
that
it's
was kinda funny.
totally against the grain.
Yes.
Well, that's it. That's
He's
why
so
it was
pissed
funny
off.
because
And it's
he never
piss funny
fucking.
when he goes, "Where do you think you're going?" She fucking goes, "I'm going through there, dickhead. Get out of the way."
Hanging up his whistle at the end of the ship.
I think they shot a bunch of that though, and then he just started putting his foot down and giving
cut
some
that
opinions.
cut that out. Like, go along with it, Stephen.
Yeah.
It makes us feel like this guy's a bit, he's having a laugh.
Yeah.
He's at least
Yeah.
having a gag.
Jean
Yeah, well,
Claude
that's
pulled
it.
it off. He poked some fun at himself. Why can't Steven do it?
Yeah. And in fact,
Oh,
Jean Claude's
dickhead.
career stepped back up a gear when he started taking the piss.
Yeah.
He did. Yep.
I mean, Jean Claude Van Johnson wasn't great, but he was fucking awesome.
Yeah, and
he was
it's
having
funny.
a great
It's
time.
not so
Yeah.
funny.
JCVD movie was bloody.
Yeah, yeah,
good.
it was
He was
really
taking
good.
the piss out of his whole profile in that. When
I
he's
think he on the phone
interacting.
at one point going, "They're giving it to Seagal."
Yeah. There's another bloke, like he's interacting with this guy who's a big fan, and he's always coming up to him. And he's like smoking a cigarette. He's like, "Hey, kick it out of my mouth."
Those in the head.
And like walking next to him and fucking throwing punches and stuff. Like it's really good.
Coolio seems to be mopping the floors down
Loitering.
Gangster's Paradise indeed.
One of my biggest likes of the movie, Oeseldinger.
Who?
What? The big guy?
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
his name Oeseldinger? That's one of the greatest names of
Well, the guy who keeps getting bloody...
Yeah, Montini's the big fella, the big unit.
Yeah.
Pretty
Oh,
sure his
yeah.
name
He
is
gets
Oeseldinger.
Taser guy.
tasered.
Yeah.
And then they taser Seagal. Of course, he can take it without shitting himself. Sorry, that's when he gets choked. Shits himself when he gets choked in
That's
the
right.
neck. But, again, this is classic Seagal. Like, he does go down and it's kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. But shakes it off like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Whereas most people would be going,
Yeah.
shit.
They
But
jacked
they
it
didn't
right
go
up,
off.
man.
Yeah.
You'd be dead.
Would have had a lobotomy.
I got a whole dislike around that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a like as well, but yeah, I
Sure,
don't know
what?
why. Every time they kept saying, "Where's Oeseldinger?" I was like,
Sounds like a faggot at condom. Bring out the Oeseldingers.
sounds like if IKEA release a range of condoms, Oeseldingers.
Oh, we are childish.
Which I like. Get a little bit smaller.
He is. He used to be actually really athletic. Now he looks like a bodybuilder in
He's
this.
huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Oeseldinger's a big unit, but that whole sequence where he goes to hit him and he comes over with the arm.
Yeah.
He's bristling.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ronnie Coleman for a minute. I was expecting when they got into the weights room. I thought,
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. buddy.
There's no police officer that's committing their entire life to doing weights as soon as they finish their shift.
No. Also, I don't know if there's a lot of coppers standing around in the open locker room with a fucking taser going.
Well, that was supposed to be an indictment of that
They were
precinct,
dodgy.
though, wasn't
But
it?
let's not hit us over the head with that.
But sort of, look, bridging the likes and dislikes. Is that not the most Seagal scene you've ever seen in a fucking Seagal movie?
Yeah.
That Seagal walks into a bunch of knuckleheads tasing each other, and of course, he starts to, no, I don't need any part of this. And then someone challenges him, he's like, okay, because he knows he can do it. He's the fucking greatest at anything. He can control the fucking volts of electricity coursing through his body. And then he gets in a blue because the bloke jacked it up to 60 or whatever. And in Seagal's mind, he's thinking, I'd have shaken off 25, no worries, but you got me to one knee with a 60, so I'm going to start punching on here. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. He's just painfully irritating with his dickishness.
My favourite scene, both likes and dislikes, when the captain's face plants face first into the fucking windscreen in slow-mo and it goes and the
That
whole
was
thing's
so
cracked up.
unexpected.
I was like, what the fuck?
Why?
That
I was like, why did they
awesome.
kill her? They've gotten her out of this car park, and then
I was loving it. I was like, that was awesome.
It actually looked alright.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
She's a female in a Seagal movie that possibly told him to fuck off when he was hitting on her. So,
There was actually
I wanted
originally a
dead.
sex scene later on, and she said, I'm not doing it. Seagal goes, put her into the windscreen.
yeah, I think that's what happened.
No one can knock me back.
And I also had to get a good gag. I was also loving when they're chasing him down the alley in the car, and he leaps over the. There's I think it's the back of a truck bed sticking out.
Yeah.
And the fucking car goes straight through it and basically
Jeez, the top
hits
of it.
those two blokes.
No, they were ducked down.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they
I thought
ducked
had
down.
their heads
They
taken
ducked
off.
They
I'm like,
ducked it,
what
just took the top off the
fuck?
car, but then he hurdles the thing off a two-step start, No thanks, Stephen. No.
Only Carl Weathers can handle that.
Yes.
Stephen would be lucky to have a bloody 3 centimetre vertical leap at this point. I reckon.
It's me doing the lady.
I didn't have much else.
I had nothing else.
I actually just had to make up 2 things that I didn't even have on my list. Yeah, it was just a nothing film.
Dislikes. Let's go.
Let's go. Straight off the bat, his profiling of the dude that's clearly a bad guy because he has an earring. He's like, oh, this guy's unsavoury.
Slow-moed.
It's like, he's got bling. He must be a criminal.
That is a common thing. He does it a couple of times. He walks past people and it's like, I smell crime. He just he just turns and follows people for no reason.
And what it does, it slows everything down. So he walks past me and he goes, everything's in slow motion. But the funniest one is when he's driving along and he sees that car, guy flicks a cigarette out the window.
Yeah.
And it lands on the ground and there's dead set a pile of fucking cigarettes. And
I think he might have been there for a while.
All I could think of was that scene in Naked Gun where they're doing a stakeout, they're eating those nuts, they keep throwing them out the window, and he goes, I better go upstairs then.
Pushes the door out.
I was just thinking, this is just ridiculous.
That was a lot of darbs, though.
He smoked a whole pack. How long's he been sitting there?
That's the whole thing. Like, just this. I don't know why. It just seems like it's something to do with him that he's got to be shown to. I just walk onto a scene and I just see it. I just see the crime because I'm so attuned. My senses are so finely tuned to what's going on.
Yeah.
But I see this, I mean, for fuck's sake, he goes into that precinct where they're running one of the biggest fucking drug operations in the country by the looks. The bird that's running it was in internal affairs and she had no clue. Like, how much credit do you want to give him?
Yeah. And my problem with Seagal is something I said to you, Jared, when we were talking about it before we got on here, is that any action star who's willing to, and especially in the late 90s and the early 2000s, if you were willing to fucking show that you were damaged or you had some
There's got to be some flaw somewhere.
The flaws. I mean, fucking Stallone and Willis cut their teeth on this shit for fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
And people loved them. And the reason was because they were heroes, but they were
you make yourself an
blue-collar hero.
You make yourself an everyday person, right?
And everyone could go,
that could have been
I feel like, this I can sort of relate to this character.
Like, they were still Superman in their own ways, but their characters had something that made them fucking half interesting. Like, there's no interest in Seagal turning up to a crime scene because you just know he's going to sniff out exactly what's going on and he's going to slap the shit out of whoever's doing it. Like,
his only flaw is that he's one step ahead of everybody around him.
Yeah, exactly.
My only flaw is that I'm not 2 steps ahead.
Hang on, are we not going to call out his mum jeans?
Yeah.
He wears mum jeans when they kidnap him and throw him in the back of the van. He's got just like plain black, just like school shoes on, and blue like mum jeans. And I'm like, wow, Steve, really rocking that fashion, mate.
Couldn't even fit a packet of Ussel dingers in your pocket.
They're not even tight and like trendy for the late 90s. They're like loose, like something your dad would get at Big W. Like, do better, Stephen.
They only had a $50 million budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think they skimped on wardrobe. You know what? Some of the dialogue, the dialogue is shit ass across the board.
Yeah.
But there's this one bit where he goes into the captain's office, and it's really early on. And basically Bill Duke's chewing him out, You run in there and you bloody do this. And his response is something about, oh, you're a bureaucrat just like all those guys who let our soldiers go over to Vietnam. And I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Where'd that come from?
And it pays off at the end because I think Bill Duke ends up saying something about, I was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
But again, as it comes back, I'm just sitting there going,
was that
why do
worth
we
it?
have this again?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's getting reamed over saving the vice president is ridiculous. Right? We find out later that there's other factors, but he's talking about the Secret Service. I mean, the vice president's on the phone saying, no, this bloke keeps his job.
Yeah.
He saved my life.
Yeah.
The fact that that's even
he shot a handgun at a helicopter and took it out of action.
Yeah.
He keeps his job.
And most of the Secret Service were friggin' dead as well. Like, what were they going to do?
But this is a Seagal movie. Why does it have to be the vice president? It was just an everyday person, and he's got the satisfaction of knowing, yeah, I did the right thing because I saved that person's life, and everybody else is going, you fucking idiot, you blew up half the city. Well, that's okay. That works.
Yeah.
Like, he knows, but no one else does. But when it's the vice president, and the reasoning is, there's a comical headline on the newspaper that the vice president got thrown in the water.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Speaking of things we didn't need, well, I mentioned Anthony Anderson earlier on.
Tom Arnold?
Yeah, like if you have to have one, like shame on you. If you have two, you got Tom Arnold and fucking Anthony Anderson in a movie. There's just not room for two fucking morons that yell at everything.
Yeah, what?
How about the end credits with them riffing
That's
with
what I
each
mean.
other?
Like, at the end, I'm like, really, motherfuckers? Like,
You know what?
Ad-libbing.
If I have to take one of them, I'm taking Arnold.
yes, every day,
I'm taking Arnold.
but he's still a
Only
yelling
because
idiot.
his decibel levels are a little bit lower.
Slightly, but it's still nonsense.
Anderson just yells the whole time. Those two are pretty much obsolete. They basically exist wholly and solely. Like, Tom Arnold exists to get some information for Seagal at one point.
And for them to have a boob scene.
Yeah,
Seagal
that's true,
can't
sure.
handle real humans, so he would have been creeped out. But at the end, so like when DMX runs and jumps off that cardboard box over the skip bin, after they knock Isaiah Washington out, and then fucking Anthony Anderson puts his foot through it and slaps into the back of the truck. Like, what sort of movie are we watching here?
I did actually laugh briefly at that.
I'm laughing, but it's out of place. Like,
For
it's weird.
some reason, I also laugh when Anderson's shot, and he's sitting on the ground, and he's going, "Help me out! They're coming to give me a DMX." Just grabs a pile of fucking laundry and dumps it on
See,
top
that
of
shit
him.
was
Yeah.
done much better in Ong Bak. Remember in Ong
Yes.
Bak where his fat little mate's trying to follow him and he goes flying into the bin and shit?
Yeah, that's funny though. This is just it didn't fit.
No,
yeah.
it didn't work.
DMX, not a good actor. Actually makes the guy look good occasionally too.
He just doesn't fit at all. He's
Yeah.
like small, skinny.
And he keeps sort of looking at the camera with this sort of menacing glance, and then he's just kind of, he says his lines, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
A couple of times I couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
He sort of mumbled.
Yeah, there was a couple. I had to put the subtitles on for a couple of his lines because he just couldn't.
And there's a couple of moments when he gets angry and shit in the car with that copper. That's when you see a bit of spark in him.
Yeah.
But when there's nothing like that, he's just a wash, mate. You may as well not bother.
He's like a singer that can only belt out lines, and then as soon as they have to take it down a bit, they're way off key.
we need to bring you
Yeah.
down. You can't be so big in this scene.
All he's got
just
is
got
big.
nothing.
Is it his singing that sounds like Ja Rule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard it, I'm like,
Two people get away with that.
My
How did
God.
two people
Well,
get away
how
with
come
that?
there's Mystical and
Oh, yeah.
Little John? They sound the same, don't
well,
they?
Lil Jon did even less than all of them probably made more money.
Yeah! What?
That was spot on, Adam.
Seagal doing wire work. Never.
Ridiculous.
Never, ever. You know, Jet Li, it works because you take away the wires, he's probably still pretty good. They're just using it to slightly enhance.
Probably still pretty
Make it
good. Is that a
quicker.
quote? We'll quote you on that.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Seagal,
He's actually athletic.
they're using it in a way to sort of showcase something that he hasn't done.
Yeah.
But yet he looks like a fucking... Honestly, the one where he goes down, he avoids the gun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dead set. It would have taken, in proper motion, it would have taken 5 seconds to get back up.
Yeah.
But honestly,
he probably
like,
pulled the crane down.
You see that first scene, you watch that. When you're shooting it, you watch it and you go, tell the wire guys they can go home for the rest of the movie. We're not doing this. It looks fucking ridiculous.
He can stick to Ultimate Mercy. We'll just give this wire work
He'll
a miss.
just get back to what he... Play to his strengths. That's his strength.
Yeah.
That Aikido stuff. And if you're trying to come away from that and go, well, we're going to give him something new... Not that shit.
Yeah.
Like, not wires. Like, he can't do that. He's too big for starters. He'd be 100 keg.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy. He's bigger than me. I'm 104. He's bigger than me.
Yeah, and he's a tall guy.
He's pretty tall. He's
6'4", I
6'3" or
think.
4, yeah.
So that doesn't work. Like Jet Li's what, 5'6" or 5'7" or something,
tiny.
and tiny, and a good martial arts athlete type.
Yeah.
Who flies around.
Which Seagal, to his credit, actually used to be an elite martial artist, but that was a long time ago. Like when he did Under Siege and stuff, he actually had
he's just
good
a
hand
dickhead.
speed. Like he looked believable. In this, he's just grabbing people and pushing them. Like
Tommy Lee looks pretty good in.
yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones, yeah. Well, not his face. He still looked like the fucking bottom of someone's shoe. I mentioned this earlier too, but Seagal's facial expression variety is limited at best.
He's also a mumbler.
Yeah. No, he's like a whisper mumbler. It's like he thinks it makes him sound really like,
I'll talk down in my chest.
I'm really
or something.
deep and meaningful.
Mate, speak up. I need to know
Spiritual
what's actually
label.
being said.
Yep.
I can't just go along with this whole idea that you speak down to your chest because it's supposed to be intimidating.
Yeah.
Well, that scene after he breaks the table is prime example. I'm laughing because when he broke the table, because that was part of that, taking the piss out of him a little bit. But then he stands there and talks about, I'm so happy and all this sort of stuff, and it just sounds fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The dialogue's dumb, the way he delivers it's dumb, and it's like you just ruined a good scene for you. A direction your career should probably gone in.
Steven, it's called comic timing, mate. Work it out. Someone can explain it to you. Because that scene is exactly what this movie is. Boiled down into one scene. 1 minute they're taking the piss, but then Steven's the only person who can't understand it.
Yeah.
So the film's kind of like this really weird tone. It's split. Because Anthony Anderson and Tom Arnold are providing humour, and Seagal's fucking walking around doing his indestructible Terminator business.
I mean, we talked about Fallible. We talked about how he gets yelled at. He saves the vice president. That's way up in Seagal, I'm great at everything territory. Then it's down to, no, you're a lone wolf and we're going to sack you. But then when his new partner rolls into his house, for some reason, some unknown reason, we have a look at his wall. It's got every fucking commendation you can want in there.
Yeah.
He's not wanting for a job. He's getting any job he wants
He's
in
not
the
a black
force.
suit police officer.
Did anybody
It's
buy
ridiculous.
that if you are running some sort of drug operation, that you're going to send the lone wolf that actually gets shit done into that precinct?
Yes. Wouldn't you just be saying, look,
I'm going to send him
we'll
somewhere
just
where he's
send him
going
off to fucking Siberia or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can man the fort there somewhere else, just a small...
We want him killed, but I mean, he's gonna through his previous track record. He's probably gonna get in there, sniff around a bit, kill some people. It seems like he's done this before.
He'll make waves. He'll make waves.
Yeah. And so, that none of that makes any sense.
Did anybody buy that there's a secret group that's trying to catch out renegade police officers?
That was fucking ridiculous.
And they tried to explain how it was funded by him.
He ran a tech company, and then
Yeah.
it just shows a picture of a laptop screen, and he presses one button.
Yeah.
Sold shit for $9.99 or less or something on a website.
Yeah, and just he cashed out before the bubble burst or some shit. Like, that's just jargon of shit. Like,
Bears,
I
and
believe
bulls.
it.
Bears and bulls.
It's
Yeah, exactly.
They were trying to do this. They were trying to do this positive take on a black male in the lead role. They tried to do this flip. Oh, we think he's running the drugs and that sort of stuff, but he's actually. But it made it look so much like it made it look so stupid. You could have done that with something believable.
Yeah.
But the way that it played out, I mean, for a minute,
you gave DMX power when he's got the gun and he's got and Seagal's got the empty clip and he doesn't kill him.
yeah.
But then you just take you just go, this guy isn't. That's not who he is.
Then when we find out what's going on and he goes into the fucking Spy Kids headquarters for 10 minutes, what are we doing here?
That's what I thought.
With the early Eva Mendes,
Eva Mendes,
I believe.
yeah, very
Who I
young.
believe came out and said that all her lines were redubbed by someone else.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounded like her.
That's what she reckoned. She had the worst experience of her life.
Oh, she had to work with Steven Seagal. Quote, dickhead. One of the most uncomfortable things, we also alluded to this earlier on, but when he interrupts his police captain's dinner with her date, who was already a massive slimeball weirdo, that sequence where at the end she seems to have been taken by something he does and gives him a wink after he mentions about how
yes.
he'll give her something hard.
Let's unpack this.
I
because
nearly vomited.
No, let's not unpack it. We want whatever's hard to stay under wraps there.
He turns up, right? Before that, they'd kind of been, they'd spoken a couple of times, but I think it was maybe 2 scenes, maybe, and it was a couple of very minor conversations.
And of course, she had to act a little bit flustered when she walked into the men's locker room.
Yeah.
It's not like he had his knob out, did he?
No, Michael J. White might have been in the background, mate. He's like, God, look at that. He's got muscles on his shit.
Yeah, John White dropped his towel.
Oh, strap, put some clothes on.
She starts going, oh, geez, and Seagal thinks, oh, I'm...
It's like when you're waving at someone and they think it's the person in the front.
John White's knob slopping out of the air.
Seagal's thinking, yeah, I know.
Not bad, eh? You like this
But,
party?
so they've had a couple of minor scenes that have really added up to not much. He comes in, interrupts dinner, tells this bloke to fuck off,
Take
sits
a walk.
down.
Eats his dinner. That was symbolic.
Of course he did.
Eat your dinner.
He said, is this a flirtation technique of his?
Yes.
It's not the first time he's
He's
pulled
an
this
alpha,
guy.
Adam.
He comes in, he eats the dinner, he tells her, what are you doing with this guy?
Yeah.
Like he
what
owns
fucking
something.
business is it of yours, mate? You've met her twice. I was glad Riley wasn't there. She would have lost her shit.
It's just such
She would have lost it equally as hard. Remember when she drives out of the car park? And he goes, I always said women are bad drivers. Yeah. She goes, I agree.
What?
Who's writing the quips here? Like, you're not even
Meanwhile, she
joking.
got you out alive.
Yeah. And then fucking face planted allowed you to somehow get out of the car, even though you move like a bloody.
Yeah, how did you
Warthog.
explain that physics to me? They run into the blade of a bulldozer, and he just dives out the side of the car at the exact right moment.
He is Steven Seagal.
Oh,
You can jump over cars, so jumping out of one's probably not that much of a spectacle.
That's fucking Monday through Friday.
But that was just ridiculous. And when he said that line, I'm just like, you don't even have that in the movie. It's just
Which
it was
line?
well, you
the
can't
women
even
drivers.
You
like,
can barely hear it because it's part of the chase, correct?
yeah, it's when,
Yeah,
as soon
it's
as they
after she
come out
drives
of
out of
it,
the
she
second
drives
So
out of the
there is
story.
absolutely no need for it.
No.
Yeah, all that's happening there is, where the cars are, you'd forget about
The
it.
only reason for it is for comedy.
it's not
So-
remotely funny.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't.
But even that,
Work out what
good timing.
comedy is.
I want to know.
Work it out.
I want to know
And
how much he threw up.
he's
though.
probably, it's when the scenes.
Sure,
when the
he's
scenes
there
cut,
going, yep.
he cracks
Nailed
up.
it.
He's like, "Oh, I had to hold that for the whole scene. I was going to burst out laughing." Like,
I reckon that her script has like pen through it and it's
Yeah.
written over the top of it.
I reckon it. Yeah, definitely.
But the whole thing about that for me is that was supposed to be flirtatious. It's a romance. It goes nowhere. She face plants into a windscreen.
She doesn't look
End
like
of
she
story.
belongs either.
She doesn't really seem to be that interested in him. I mean, he's probably got a packet of bloody ootigers or whatever the fuck you were talking about.
Go on, give us
That's Ursel-ding.
He's probably got a packet of Ursel-dingers on him with an expectation that this is going to go further.
She gives him the wink. Like, she definitely vomited in her mouth when she had to do that. She's like, really? Like, Andre, I've got to wink at this dickhead after he tells me he's going to give me something hard, and he's standing there frowning at me. And the guy's like, yes. And she's definitely a mouthful of chum.
I just don't understand because her character is barely. She's one-dimensional. There's nothing to that character
Nothing
at
there.
all.
And there should have been, because she came from IA, for fuck's sake. She's supposed to be, he takes it to her. That's supposed to be...
She could have been working with him, or
Yeah.
it could have been giving some advice. You got to let this go the right way.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he has to take over or
but
something.
it's Steven Seagal. He does it by himself. God damn it.
He's a lone wolf.
Lone wolf.
The whole thing with Michael Jai White being the bad guy or whatever, they kind of have
switching.
him in the locker room at the start.
So obvious.
As the moment he speaks, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And his name's Strut. What good guy's ever been named Strut?
He should have been Useldinger, for sure. But I mean,
He does look German. He's like Dennis Schroeder.
the whole his scene where he does the turn around and welcome to the whatever he says, and then talks about I wish I had a cat with me.
He's like
in the
Dr.
villain's
Cole.
version. As soon as he has to act like the villain, it shows the limitation in Michael Jai White's acting. I'm a fan of him in particular roles,
Very particular.
but you don't need him to act a hell of a lot.
No.
And so
No.
when that all came out, it was just like, that was, you smelt it a mile off.
And even when they try and they
I
do
was
the
like
double
Seagal at a
cross,
crime scene. I went, that's what's happening here. I get it.
$100 million worth of heroin's been stolen.
That's a dumb twist. It's just
No, but
dumb.
also throwing his mate in, as Jared said, he disappears for so long. As soon as he reappears, you know something's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why would he suddenly be involved? Like,
Yeah.
why would he suddenly be back if he's not involved?
Yeah.
Now, to me,
You got your
do
suspicion, and the second he comes, I didn't know who to call. You're like, confirmed.
you do the double cross by Isaiah Washington. That works better because you don't expect him. He's been Seagal's running mate the whole time, and he's the young rookie. You do not expect that he might turn on him. So you turn it there.
Well,
The roid
the
rage
thing
got the
is,
better of him.
it doesn't matter which character you use for mine, but you've got to craft it. You don't just fucking disappear.
Craft?
You don't have the bloke
What?
for 2 minutes and then bring him back for the last 2 minutes and don't think we're going to go, oh.
Maybe it's him.
you got to do something with it. The only reason you're saying that Isaiah Washington one is because we got to know him a little bit, and we got to know he's got the family. We got to know, so there's the expectation there. But you could have done it with any other character.
Yeah,
if you
did spend time.
Or
At least you spent some time with Washington, so you could have crafted that possibly a little better because he had more to work with.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, Jai White, is it Bruce McGill?
Yeah,
Bruce McGill.
Bruce McGill. These guys are fucking cardboard cutouts, mate.
Yeah.
They're barely even.
It would have even worked better with the lady Superior.
Yeah. That
She
could
would
have
have been
worked.
a better option to do the twist on him.
No, she
was
wouldn't
in
have
it for
twisted, mate.
3
She's already
minutes.
taken by him.
She was already a
That's right.
pancake. She couldn't twist anymore.
Yeah, her face was fucked. Yeah.
Don't need her anymore.
As twisted as she can get.
The only other one I had is that is certainly not Steven Seagal on a motorbike.
Oh, some of the stunt doubles are reprehensible. They're just taking some skinny dude that's actually skilled at things and put him in a fucking man bun.
And they keep
at
cutting
least,
to Seagal up close on the front of the motorbike. It's like, yeah, you're not on that.
At
One of the best
at
ones
least
was
he-
the when he crashed the car the first time, and the what do you call it, the what am I losing this? The fucking balloon that comes out of the airbag. Fuck. The airbag comes out, and they shoot the normal shot with a dummy, and then they go, all right, Stephen, put your face in the pillow, and he goes. And he just from like an inch away puts his face in the airbag. It's like, fuck, really?
The thing about, I mean, at least in this movie, he walked by himself and he appeared in shots with other people, because the last Seagal movie I watched, he didn't even do that.
It was everything from the back.
Honestly, there's scenes of walking up the stairs and he uses a stunt double.
Yeah.
Mate, in Seagal,
Is that one where he's on the front with like a bullet belt
Yeah, the
around him?
sniper thing.
Yeah.
And there's shots where like someone's talking and then it cuts to the reverse shot of Seagal talking over clearly somebody else's shoulder. So he wasn't there.
in
the same as
Seagal
the
land,
other actors.
this movie is one of his top 5. That is
Other than the classic.
That is the legitimate. This is a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
This is a very average action film, but in Seagal's filmography, it's top 5. That's how bad he's going.
I challenge you to watch all these movies and confirm that for us.
I can't do that. I refuse to do that.
Hard pass.
There's only other movies that I would think were better than this, and that is Under
Under
Siege
Siege.
and probably Hard to Kill.
So I've still got another dislike,
Really?
and it's about extension of Michael
The
John
taser?
White.
Taser?
No, I've covered that. That was fucking
Stingers.
It's you have Michael Jai White in a movie for a specific purpose, and it's because he's a fucking good martial artist. So why, when Seagal and Michael Jai White meet in the climactic scene, are they fighting each other with fucking scimitars for some reason?
Yeah, and then he just gets put onto a pipe, and that's the end of it.
And one flips over the other one. And like,
Do you think Jai White was
does a
going-
cut and flips over the top of him? Like, oh my!
Do you think
God.
Jai White was going, I'm just going to pound this fucking, and the director's going, no, you can't. I'm just going to
was the
whoop his
best bit of
ass.
the whole movie,
All right, well, we're going to have to change the fight up.
That was my last dislike too, though. The not using Michael Jai White for a big showdown at the end. It's just that's a bad choice, and it's clearly
Bad choice.
It can only be because Seagal couldn't cut it.
I
Let's be
think
honest.
so, because Jai White's happy to fucking do it anywhere. He'll take any job and,
And
show that he
gets
can throw a
beaten
few
a lot. Like,
punches.
he's not against like getting his ass kicked.
Exactly.
So
The thing about it is that you think they'd fight on the rooftop there. You know, they get out on the
Yeah.
rooftop, the helicopter's gone or whatever, they've already
Instead,
bolted,
Seagal's buddy
dragging along behind him.
roof skiing.
it leaves Ruski.
There's no reason that helicopter wouldn't have just gone straight up and just left him there. Like, he's not holding on to it. And what was that pipe hanging out the roof there for?
I don't know.
If it's a vent, they just go straight. Oh, never
I
mind.
don't
Let's not ask that question.
Yeah.
What was the point of the car salesman scene?
Oh,
It
was
just
it-
showed that DMX had heaps of money and that, but it was
No, you're talking about the car salesman, the black guy going, "Come on, my brother."
Oh,
Like,
hilarious racial comedy and stereotypes there, Matty. Making fun of all the stereotypes.
that ass, Miss Taylor. Is that what it was?
yeah, the whole thing was.
That
and then you got the
sequence should have
slimy
been
white guy who
fucking
just
cut
throws
out.
in the keys. Like,
Yeah.
why does he do that?
And he's like, keep the change, you can have the commission or whatever.
What
the white
paperwork
bloke.
is he doing? He doesn't know the bloke's fucking name. You can't just give him some cash.
Do the paperwork. Okay. Just
Yeah,
God.
that was poor. What else do you have, Matty?
I don't know. There was another one. I forgot.
Steven Seagal was in it.
It's for the best.
Well,
Let's
as I
just forget
said,
about it.
Seagal, you take any of the stars of the 90s or 2000s and you put him in that role, you don't get a great action film, but you get a serviceable one. But
Probably.
Seagal turns it into exactly what Seagal has always done.
And you
that is
probably would have got a couple of laughs and a couple of decently written quips.
Yeah. But Seagal turns it into what he always does, and that is I am indestructible. And I am the greatest at everything, and nobody can tell me what to do. And that shit just doesn't cut it. And the thing was, this movie made money. It proved there was an audience for his stick.
But you know what? I actually think it might have been an audience for DMX, funnily enough. 'cause
Maybe.
It was made at the peak of DMX. I reckon, I could be wrong, but I reckon if you looked at this in amongst Seagal's other stuff, it would have been like a peak.
Yeah, it was. Because he'd been out of the game for about 3 years. He hadn't made a film for 3 years.
He should have stayed there.
Yeah, possibly.
Stay out, Stephen.
Good on him for making money, though. Well done.
Yep.
Kudos.
All right, nothing else?
No, I pretty much
God, no.
said my piece.
Don't want to
All
watch
right.
it again.
No.
That's Exit Wounds. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify and Podomatic. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia and at Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com. We're also on Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast AU. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for details of our next film. But until then, take it easy and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.